Hello again from Central Virginia. Welcome back to my garden. If you're new to this channel, I welcome you. If you're returning, thanks for coming back. Today, I'm going to plant beans. It is just the very end of April, or towards the end of April, last few days. Today, as you can see with my hat, it's a tiny bit on the chilly side. It's not bad. It's like 60 degrees, but I was just a little chilly, so I put my hat on. Any rate, but tomorrow and all through the next week or so, it's going to get really warm. So we're well beyond our frost date, and it's a perfectly good time to go ahead and sow some of those warm crops, get them going. This year, I am really making a concerted effort to sow my bush beans in succession, which means I put in one row, one little patch about 2 weeks ago. They're now up. Now I'm going to put in another row of the same kind of bean, and I'm going to start a third kind of bean as well, so that I will begin to get those in, and they'll come in over time. I'm also going to sow some pole beans, which don't need to be done in succession, although I have already put just a few in to see whether they would come up. All right, so let's get started with this. Let's take a look at the process here. I do soak my beans overnight. I think it helps enhance the germination and get that going a little bit faster. So these beans have all been soaking overnight. I have the Louisiana Purple-Podded Beans. I have a new, which is a new one for me this year. I am growing Dragon Tongue beans, and those are from Baker Creek, and those are new for me also. This is a bush bean, as is Maxibel. I grew Maxibel last year. I love them, and I've already got some planted in the ground. The other thing I'm going to plant around the garden today are some nasturtiums that will climb along my fence and hopefully help ward off things that I don't want in here. Nasturtiums are really best when you soak them overnight before seeding as well. Here is the row of Maxibel bush beans, and I'm really pleased with the rate of growth and germination on these. This will be a nice bean bed. What else is growing nearby? I have peas growing up the trellis, and this summer those will be replaced probably with cucumbers or maybe some melons. I have some leeks growing over here. I have volunteer potatoes and some volunteer marigolds that I will probably be moving out of this area. And there's calendula on the other side and some sweet alyssum as well as some hyssop, which is a perennial herb. What you're seeing right here is volunteer watermelon. I had sugar babies growing up here last year, and I am going to actually just move these to another spot since they're up and going. Right, the first thing I'm going to do, I have cleared off the mulch from this growing area. And then I'm just going to dig in a little bit to loosen up the soil some. You don't have to overdo it, but I am just going to loosen this up a little. That's a signal that things are ready to come up. When you start seeing the volunteer warm weather crops, you know it's time to start planting warm weather crops. It means the soil is ready. I'm putting this about 6 inches away from the other plants, and I'm planting them about 2 to 3 inches apart. In case you're wondering how I prep these beds in the fall, this is a no-dig garden. These beds were, let's see, this is the 3rd season for this particular part of the garden in this bed. Originally, it was just built on the ground with cardboard and compost and mulch. And then each fall, I put down alfalfa pellets, and I put down about 1 inch of compost, and then I top it off with some kind of mulch. In this case, it's ground up leaves that I collected from around my yard. All right, so here are the Maxibel beans. So I'm just going to first of all space them, and then I'll plant them. There's something very nice about planting beans. They're pretty plants to grow. They're bushy and grow low to the ground. I love seeing the beans begin to form on them, and I love picking and eating the beans even more. Surprise, surprise, surprise. If you can name who said surprise, 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 put it down in the comments, and you'll be one of the kindred. Okay, that's it. Now I'm just going to poke a hole about 1 inch deep. Poke those little guys down in there, cover them up. Bit of good soil contact, about an inch down. If I were planting these later in the summer, I would put them about 2 inches down because the soil can get quite warm. As these come up, like I did here, I'll be pulling the mulch back in around the plants. The great thing about using a lot of mulch in your garden is it really cuts down on the amount of watering that you have to do. It also keeps the plants cooler, the roots of the plants cooler in the summer. Maxibels. Next, I'm going to carefully dig up these 2 watermelon plants, and I'm just going to put them in this water for right now. Yeah, if your watermelons and things are coming up as volunteers, it's definitely time to plant your warm weather crops. That's a sign of the season as opposed to the calendar. All right, I'm just going to be very carefully pulling these up, not to disturb them too much. Let's see what we can get here. Yeah, it's got a nice little root system going already. See? I'll just put them in the water for right now, and then I'm just going to transfer those to another spot in the garden. Right there. Okay. Next, we're going to plant a row of the dragon tongue beans. These are, okay, let's mark these. Mark these as Maxibels. Let's take these dragon tongues, put them on in just like we did before. Oh, they're such beautiful, beautiful seeds, see? I can't wait to see what these plants look like. Here we go. Pop them in, cover them up. Pop them in, cover them up. I'm just going to go and plant those pole beans. My plan for the pole beans is to really put them all along my exterior fences. And that is exactly where I've started to plant some already. I'll show you. Those are my peas, my garden peas that are growing. And these guys right here growing along the fence are the purple-podded, Louisiana purple-podded pole beans. Now I can see that I've got some germination, but I'm going to go ahead and fill in the gaps because those should have germinated by now. And then I'll just continue planting down this row right here, right along here. You plant the pole beans exactly the same way. So I'm not going to exactly show you that because you've seen how to do it, and you probably know how to do it already if you're a gardener. So yeah, I'm just going to do a nice fence line of purple-podded beans, and then I'm going to come and plant other kinds of pole beans along the edge as well. I'm just going to plant these nasturtiums, just sort of spotting around the edge of the fence. Just pop them in, see what happens. All right, so what I did is I'm on the outside of my garden, and I have planted 2 watermelon transplants. We'll see how they do. These are sugar babies, and they are relatively compact. Last year I tried growing them on the trellis, and they were too compact for that. They didn't want to grow up. So I'm just going to let them do their thing out here. I might put something around them to protect them from things trying to eat them over the next few days. Maybe just put some wire around. Hey, if you like to garden and you love to cook what you grow, this channel might be a channel for you. Those are my 2 passions in life, and I enjoy sharing them with people. So do consider liking and subscribing to help me grow. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope your garden's growing well. Take care. Bye.